Yeah, Unova. The was generation of Pokemon. This generation that was white mix of like political political correction, copying from the original making it was, and apparently having watched this season. So yeah, Victini, a Pokemon of victory. So you see the fact that his head is shaped like cow, like we. Of course, he's actually a spiral fistful. Yes, he is a V spy from from the V's of Cosby Hotel. Knowing her seriousness, apparently he was intended to be based on letter V and SBI Picasso. And yeah, I found Signal, which was used against the Nazis. Sniping is, oh my god, based on many things. So yeah, jest dużo sprydan. Da, jak jest zigzag. Tak, okay, I don't have So apparently snakes that looks like ones. Look like one. Look like one. Yes, it's real apparently. So like when is that with I basically I that doesn't have legs. Yes, it's lizard, not snake. Apparently, for some reason, NASA decided to give this feature to other species. There are these things called skinks, brasimeres from Philippines. But don't worry because this species is worldwide. So there are several grass lizards that are from Africa, and there's this guy called Abephasaurus. And I'm think I will basically skip the last. I don't think I can do it now. Basically, I just try this to copy the political correctness. I I based it on the cursors, different cursors. So yeah. So of course there are yeah. So sniping is Western because I know modern Western culture it is like this snake thing. Think Japan is also what who is apparently based on others because they cool and mess it up. If they if they knew my dog, they would sense this Pokemon. And my favorite one is tapping. You know, a pig, which apparently is based on the Chinese culture. Yes, the Japanese made a pig Pokemon. It called it the representation of China. Honesty, yeah, honesty, they are much better in making the hidden racist anyone interested. So, the Snavi evolution, Sevan, is basically Snavi, but is also based on this plant called Acanthus. And simple, it's if you can tell, it's a snake because apparently for some reason they made the CPO, yeah. So they made this Pokemon with a snake, and for some reason they were let's do him Krute and Smile, and Krute and Smile means he have to have, he needs to have legs. Now we have Tapping, Ebola, Pig Knight. Like I said, Sun is good too, but this is not joke. I don't have pixel. Ebola is apparently based on guy known as Zhang Fei and the way he died. I didn't make it up. I didn't make it up. Yeah, yeah. Like imagine taking Galvatron. With Galvatron characters that you would want to turn into Pokemon, or let's just make that Vader dead. And if you want to know who was this guy, he was some kind of war hero from the War of Three Kingdoms. And if you want to know how his life was ended, see, okay, no, of course I forgot that I can take stupid YouTube. Like, yeah, I don't still get about taking it. So yeah, Ocelot, Devot, and Samurott. I thought I was the track based on the CIs because of the final evolution, not time based apparently on this thing which is called Japanese word fan, no joke. And this is not joke I saw try. You see, the reason why someone is actually around, this is not joke. Basically when they were making Pokemon they were like, let's do Otte Pokemon. So they like decide because Ottes the Seattle like there are two species of otters and like there's this normal clone and there's the psychopathic one. So of course the psychopathic culture is a perfect representation for Japan. But you see, the guy went to aquarium and he was he had one task. Go to otters and test and made a cool looking creature with like the destinate like precise based on Japan fan. So like yeah, basically easy enough. I could do it simply. I think that others I could, but no, no, Japan. No, it's Japanese man. Somehow, some freaking way, he basically instead of doing his job, he was basically like he went to he want was doing his job, but like he was taken away from the others by Sion, so like for some reason he wasn't punished. Like yeah, have you ever seen this show Star Boy like hey? Okay, the description of those Pokemon are very long. And I was supposed it's sorted last time. But of course it would be my song because this generation with us is a lot of Pokemon. So yeah, Patrat, easy one. This is based on this Siprank, Pride and like this one species that is everywhere in India. Was Hawk. Of course, you can, of course, like you can pretty much easy take after he's like guess like the fact that he basically stands that he is based on rare cats. I don't not sure if those creatures are popular in US. I don't have thought like you saw, but like yeah, like at least in my country there is like this fun that like that I'm always doing this position is funny. finance is kinda a joke. So we have our first dogs. And of course they're based on dogs. Like I'm not even surprised, for honesty, that they decided to go with dogs. Of course, I saw the but like let's be I went with dog because New York, York. Then we have the Pokemon that, despite that based on the Pokemon which depend on Western is at on the purpose or two. Brilliant. This is based on the Tuxedo cats and Catbull cat. Leopard is based on this one is called Savannah cat. With like yeah, is this race that like basically is hybrid or something? I believe the mixture of like the house cat with one moment I will find because Seva, yeah. They're basically a mix of with Seva with Seva, if I remember correctly, is like this pieces of fairies that act like dog. So basically this cat is literally a complete yeah, colorful dog acting cat. If he's stupid like hey, nice like hey, don't beg for food, don't bite anyone, don't get into fight, he's friendly like hey, he's like so very loud. Then he's completely opposite of my dog. Then we have the angry monkeys. No one cares about how they name it. And you know what? It's kinda sad because like they have Pokemon creators have interesting ideas like made things like Pokemon based on the. You know what? I'm not going to review Ice. Well, they decided to like make Pokemon based on the three wise monkeys. So like, yeah, they kinda made a better design in Generation 9 for this like one monkey Pokemon. Is hilarious that like they somehow made one monkey. Like the thing is that they could just basically go with anything, but they decided to go with something like that. I don't know why. Because like yeah, you would just have to like the only thing you needed is to like have monkey without mouth, monkey with like covered by full ears, and monkey with like the eyes covered by full or something like that. Mona is based on Koro, which is like this sensei from Japan. And Tapi. Yes, this is Tapi. Yeah, okay. I forgot. I was supposed to make a comp. So okay, so you can pretty much take it West, China, Japan, US, Russia, India, US, World, US, India, China, Malaysia, and Japan. Then we have Pison. Like yeah, I know where Pisons come from. You have Tranquil, which is based on the Oriental Toothed Dog, which I select the word Oriental kinda says that yes, this Pokemon is kinda somewhere outside the first four reasons, but somewhere there. And we have Unfizans, which are actually based on different Otis Super Rice, Pisons, and like other things. This is Firebarker on Pinzon, Gretel, Roadrunner. No, I'm not made this last name up. This is called Gretel Roadrunner. There's somewhere, yes, a Gretel. route running. And yeah, they were probably Pisons, so yeah. The strike like you can tell us didn't find photo with so yeah. This is another easy one. Zebra. Of course there is one we have zebras in New York based Pokemon is the fact that we had Madagascar. No, so in all seriousness, like I don't know if they call it in this way in Western even US. In my country at least, we call the stripes on the street like there's like the pedestal stripes, zebras. I think that they call it on the West in this way too if then is Pokemon zebra Pokemon New York. It's kinda weird. Like if it was in Poland, I would say that it's the word zebra. Here we go. Geodude. Gravity. And then there are athletic clubs. Of course, SBI on worldwide, and we have the Giga. Then we have Zubats, like, I mean, like, yeah, these are Zubats. I actually really like pieces because you see, there's this good thing called from the white bite, so they kinda probably just find somewhere. They probably, I think, they probably just wanted to make as much as possible the Pokemon copycats of first generation. And they like basically were looking over and of photos and they found these pieces and that is cool there. And they took us additional days. If not said bad, of course, I saw from Americas. We have Classic more. Of course, Classic Fonseca. Oh, yeah. I'm not going into details who was Classic. He's kinda infamous for like in modern times for like the fact that sun is basically made it everywhere in Seha. Like when I was in Prague, literally everywhere there were like classic places, classic Mercedes. I of it because of Sunny's people. And he's also famous for like the fact that he was saying I was here and oh no, it was a whore. Or like or like it is often redubbed in Polish. A whore with I'm not going to translate these jokes to English. And he once made a black face. And they were making sometimes very weird things. So, and yes, is of course the trees. With for what I found, I think there's a man. No, actually it's called Rothead and it's from the Hungary. So we have Audino, which basically I just wanted to have a new Pokemon. Then we have those guys who are of course based on Polish people. Like I mean, if it wasn't obvious. And of course they're from Venezuela because Sumatra. Tran. Pobopas. No. Poboskie monkey? You know those ugly monkeys from Indonesia that have those very nice nose. So here we go. Dot boy message with the case. And Sesame Thought is based on this thought from Japan, and basically they just wanted to like copy Poliwag, but like they had a more original in there. Instead of just making one Pokemon and making bigger version of it, we would it would be much more original if we acclimate the thought pod, then red thought pod, and then fog, realize fog. They have them. Okay, you know what? I know who are the best on. I don't know what I didn't make this talk. What I didn't talk about. Okay, you know what? Remember that to select those two Muppets that look at kind of like human, they were like SpongeBob Skymine? Yeah, those guys. Yes, I could, no, it was Sesame Street. Yeah, like Sesame Street is like basically I can't like this kind of mimic thing. Which like, is it probably, which is like, is it even super much? So we can see what the Willis is from Willis is based on this pieces from US, and this one from Think with, of course, it's from Australia, but I saw from Asia. But like, I'm not even surprised that it's from Australia. Okay, then we have Spadum, Willis basically like, yeah. Remember this much better Pokemon called Caterpillar Metapod Battlefield? This is the same from World. Yeah, this is the Sulfur Pupa. And Ivani, this is kinda interesting because instead of going into like the aesthetic of the butterfly, they went with working leaves and mantasas. So like yeah, all first mantas Pokemon looks like this. I'm have a quite think that they wanted to make another Pokemon appearing for the Anto community. Yeah, Venipede and Venipede are of course based on this guy from Europe. But Scolipede has much more its original. Nice. Oh yeah, much more. First of Scorpenda Gigantea, the superized insect from like ancient times, prehistoric times with like was living in South America. Of course, this one for one called Scorpenda Singulata from Mediterranean. This guy, Anthopeula, okay, you know what? I thought this is prehistoric thing. No, this is this famous prehistoric species that like, of course, even in Europe and North America, where it's like, is this not the continent? So yes, this thing is probably as odd like salmon. They thought it means that it could be potentially many years ago, like super big Pokemon, and based on fact that not this one, but this one, this thing is called Pink Dragon. Like, you can tell that definitely colors were based on this one. I think the rest were in ancient times actually a dragon Pokemon. Then we have the Cottony, which of course is based on Contour and is evolution. If your tongue is based on the self side for Africa that metal cuttings, no, it's apparently only based on sheep. But I don't think this is this is coincidence that it looks like African self side. Then we have this guy with his based on tulips, and the gun is basically based on like the things that like was popular for like women in like the second half of 18th century, but before the French Revolution among the aristocracy. No, those times were basically women were wearing very fancy dresses with probably would they would wear steam on the times if like the pep if they were resale and men were dressing up like guys. And here we have it. The Pokemon like this is the only photo that I found that had both versions of like red blue stripes. So it's basically a combination of bases and pianos. So yeah, this is it of course. This is of course crocodiles and caiman like it's easy. The this one is more interesting because you would think that it will be ISO based on crocodiles. No, apparently it's crocodiles, but ISO bionics. With ISO means that this Pokemon could be potentially ancient ones. Like, yeah, we found the total die. What is it like? Now, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, like, based on evidence, if this really was just some species of, like, if they had common ancestry. And, of course, then we have to combine this evolution with like, the, of course, of Australia, Quincana. This is, of course, this guy from Australia with, yeah, with surprisingly no. Was super ungiving because for like 25 million less. Disappeared only like 10,000. So like, if you want me to believe that it really wasn't killed by people, like this no evidences that great. No, sorry, I don't believe you. These pieces had to do God exist before. Sorry, like the rock is that this crystal is like very small. I mean, like, yeah, you would think that like this will be some massive thing. No, this crocodile, like, if it stood on two legs, it would be its height, or maybe even lower. And then we have Pokemon with one poop. And like, yeah, do you recognize these like creepy boys with faces from Japan? Of course, it is this. And then we have Baractus with, of course, no spoiler alert, is based on this cactus from Mexico called Bonnie Ice. Again, this is we're looking for, I don't think so, Americas. Of course, we have Paras. Yeah, it's like, but like, there's a PS interesting idea of like crab having muscles on it, which like have some basis on reality to just basically make a crystal with no stone on it. Then we have those crystals that are apparently inside throwing the skin. Skin and I thought they like apparently based on like subculture. So yeah, this is basically how Lizard would look like if they were dressing up as. Then we have, of course, the ultimate unknown. I think this had to be some sort form of unknown. Of course, Red Force is like much more powerful. But they are also based on those drawings. They're like, yeah, called NASCAR lines. Probably you heard about it. Yamas, of course, is like after Kofa Giggles, we can easily take that those are inspired with Egypt. And Skamas actually is based on souls from Egypt. And like yeah, Kofa Giggles, Kofa Giggles? Yeah, Kofa Giggles. It's of course based on sarcophag. Another easy one. Probably what this Grand version is also the fact that big Sikai British toy a lot from Egypt. Egypt. Do you have my favorite type of Pokemon? So basically, Scammy Pokemon. Those are interesting one. So what exists big says way inspiration. Tortuga is kind of disappointing because it's based on the real, yeah, being Chris say, yes, this is Letterboxd Seattle say, but they are like, thankfully also based on Potostega, which is like this Chris say that even in Russia and Kansas and Alabama. One moment. It was Arkansas or Kansas that you have to like pronounce ready. Or otherwise you just do like if you got it. Then we have Costa, which again is of course based on those letterboxd today, and I saw again was always kinda interesting because it was once believed to be ancestor of letterboxd today, so they basically decided to make like prehistoric aesthetic letterboxd today stack, decided to make a Trote Pokemon. And they had X coming, but they had only one coming, and they didn't have idea. They could do crocodile, but they have I already twisted everyone, so it couldn't fit, so they just start the turtle. Yeah, like, yeah, of course it's Achero Telix. Which, if you didn't know, iPhone. Don't send. Oh, it's called Arsen. I have this like I saw based on the Microraptors from Sanaris. Again, it's hard to tell after Pixar, but like they apparently look at like ravens, like yeah, those were ravens, like okay, sun is ravens. And apparently I saw based on the sapiens. So yes, the most like used way flying over the Americas. Jak migrants do gustu. Yeah, trust Pokemon. And here we have Zork. Yeah. Yeah, Waze is based on my favorite species and like as of fantasy Kitsune with I just think that Kitsune I saw could okay. I'm not afraid but like really, really, but like I don't mind dressing up into this type of suits. I think they look cool as cosplay. But of course, like after adding like 10,000 things from Eastern Coastal. And yeah, Zorak. So of course, it's also easy. Rebel Zakai Kitsune. Here we have Siseias. That's from Andes Montes. Here we have Gotrita Gotrita. So apparently there is like this thing called Gothic Gloritas, which I'm not even surprised, and like it also is better, but Gothic is just Gothic. I saw probably were inspired by Wednesday. Oh, one moment, it was released like 10 years before Wednesday, my mistake. Then we have 6 Pokemon. I don't understand what the mate thought is good idea. Then we have the Agida King. So yes, we have Pokemon from Denmark. So we can no one skip ahead Denmark. we have ice creams which probably cost 69. To understand why it's funny, I would tell like short story. So I was in like the New York. They had like this street ice cream. Like yeah, I think like yeah, okay. It's not my ice cream, so yeah. So they were so of course. So I take one. Regular size ice cream. That's not my ice cream. You see, the thing is, if you never were in US, if you don't know what are those ice creams, just don't take ice cream from the trunks on the street. Because like, yeah, it's like funny there. Oh, ice cream trunks. They are here. I will try it. But like, this is like the biggest scam ever. And you see, the reason why I bought it here with 69 is the fact that this guy basically scammed me, scammed my parents actually, because I was with parents. On like the amount of dollars that like after calculating it on the zloty, which is like the value was in Poland, the number of the cost was basically 69 zloty. And that's based on this creepy thing actually. I don't get what they thought is good in their idea. Also, it's only Vanux. And, of course, because we were speaking about creepy mascots. And yeah, because it wouldn't be complete without like the creepiest of them all. Then we have this with concept of the seasons. Because like, if you don't know, Japan kinda has season, kinda no. Okay, to understand that basically in Asia they are not like in US, they don't have this type of climate, so they basically I think because they have school break in April, that they have probably like in the countries in Asia was that they kinda have like don't have actually 4 seasons, they have like 2 seasons, dry season, rainy season. And like actually on those countries with like only 2 seasons, yeah, actually need the spring is tend to be the hottest weather. This is the season. This is because technically speaking, the wet season, if I remember correctly, it's like in the summer starting or something. I believe it is some. Okay, from what I remember, the spring is basically the time of the peak of the dry season. So like they have kind of warmer temperature than in the winter, obviously, and they don't have violence almost at all. So like summers are better actually than and like autumn than spring because at least you have rain. And this is the data I based on. It's called Cikadi Farm. Cikadi inside of Japan. And yeah, this cool thing is costed on meal. Which sadly not is actually only in those now. They once Roman China but not anymore. We have or Picasso. So of course Picasso had to show how fun it were in West. This however one problem. Atlantic. So they oh no, my mistake Pacific. So they created wings. Then I have the night Pokemon but actually Calabias is based on also Carabus Magdinus from Silent Korea. What the hell? It sounds like some sort of the Italian variant. Then we have Fungus and Among Us. Then we have this Crisis. And yeah, this is when we have my second favorite type of Pokemon. Red Sea Crisis. So those guys are based on the phantom jellyfish. Yes, this is real species. This creepy thing not only is based on phantom jellyfish, but also jellyfish from Australia and Mayan Peninsula coasts. Common jellyfish, Yams man jellyfish, and kraken. Yes, they made kraken and jellyfish Pokemon at once. And like they made it so ugly and wet, like the kinda is kinda sad in my opinion. I said it's be like the Doku is much more kraken-like than those things. So it's kinda sad that they faced. No, and of course, if kraken then of course Squid Game. Mamora is based on the one moment that's the one mistake the name of species. No, it's based on Mora with all those species that like are famous for them having like basically head connected to body. They are called like employees only head except head. Then we have Spider. That's why I said like I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I just want to end this say. So yes, this is based on the tick, not Spade. But this of course is Taratura. This one I see it stick to cut thing. Can we have King Crank that like yeah we know. Then we have Dynamo Electric Electros and Dynamo is all of them are of course is with with one. Dynamo is based on this exist creature called Haku OSTs. So we have like another creature that like we can easily take that yes. Actually Pokemon tried to make many attempts but like once more they just had to put in ideas for two Pokemon. And like this is AI electros and electric. It's kind of canny. Then we have ions, but like not regular ions, but like this one from one moment. Don't remember. It's called Fatwood Monster. Like yeah, it's this thing. Then I have it because of Litwick? Yes, Litwick. Litwick is of course based on like the candles. Rampant is of course Street Ramp and Sandero is of course Grande. Then we have or Dragon Pokemon. Axel. So of course is Dinosaur. You are probably not even surprised. This guy is Saurolophus. And yes, this is like the first Hadrosaurus. This was the name of this group of dinosaurs. You know, those like creatures that like parasites of Rosaurus is in, and they have like those characteristic horns and faces that like looks like bright ones. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that we had like this very popular group of Pokemon only got one thing in like Generation 5. But like the Gozals are not even sure if we like have in Generation 9. I thought that no we had. What classic Coat? No. I'm not even sure if there was actually demonic Pokemon. Or Velociraptor, like the stupid Jurassic Park wants to be. And of course Basilisk. TII, not Mythical. Okay. Also, I noted, also, it's fun that I wanted to talking about what is Pokemon came for and just put so much effort that is ended on basically saying what they based on. Faxu is like Axo, but they added those tools to look cool and they are based on the Pika badge. And they turned it into Haxos tools based on Batex badge. And also they says inspiration to Heterodontosaurus. I mean, they said if there's actual Homo Dontosaurus. Okay, we have baby polar bear and polar bear. And yes, PEI, we know it's not polar bear, regular polar bear. It's of course not of the north. And yes, I didn't find Pixel. Let's put 10 minutes of science in this Pokemon. Okay, it's not worth it. So, about one moment, we have cement. It's like Skyfoot Snake, which is, I think, for like deeps of Indonesia, so like, yeah, those snakes. I mean, they kind of wet back. Yeah, I think it's for like the deep water. I think it's actually kind of normal. I saw about a clothes based on those fish and like find some good quality stuff. I actually saw how far that place. I saw that was saying a process from West. And it came in like less than 1 month. So we have a pick of wet Pokemon because apparently they just lost ideas, so they start to do very random things. So how they do, like I love the fact that basically seems like third generation they were kinda just looking a mix of iterate the most basic ideas they could have made and basically taking some very wet crisis. It's really funny for me. And of course this is Ninja. No, not the normal Ninja. Ninja Snake. Stamfish is based on the Right Eye Foundation. It's like, yeah. Mm, mm. Then we have another random Pokemon that don't no okay, so they actually based on like Gigasat Force. Then we have Dragon and stupid side. And no, it's not actually Dragon. It's actually a Gamma. Two species, correctly speaking. Red-headed and Agama Gamma. Then we have Golems, which like, if you don't know, Golems are made by, I originally like, from Zeus mythology, Greek mythology, they are also related to Zeus. There's like, Prangram Golem, which is like, second monster, I like, it's like, no, no, every good country needs to have at least like one creature that like is from some common type that like them claim to be their own original idea. Okay, so how they have original idea. But no, one moment. Let's catch this basically black black Yeti. At darkness, everybody knows this like those. Yeah, is I forgot the name. So they basically because like there's a lot of those in New York they make Pokemon for those. Bishop is based on the pounds from the says and this is no pound it was. And Bishop is like the next suggest Bishop figure. I think it's more actual, like, it's more like when we got the King Rabbit that were inspired by Six. Also, of course, the samurai and apparently bandit leaders from Japan. Then we have Buffalo, which is, of course, Star Wars with Afro. Then you have all Prophet and Barbarians are, of course, Eagles. These, of course, are like what says. Here we have the, here we have Entity. Here we have the Tabzo ants. And we start the most cool Pokemon. Like, I will have a very hard time of like actually making the Minasul form the video. Because I don't know what to put. So, Dino. No, is first of this epic run of Pokemon, and there are also the most boring one because there is a case Salamanders. Nothing too crazy. Then they got second head, and of course, because it had two heads, they kinda went with like doing two-handed monsters. So they made Yamata no Orosu, which is Japanese Nis Hydraes, this is from Japanese mythology. They of course made Kesamade, and of course they took Hydra. Oh, one moment, a mistake made. Oh, but this is Hydra, this is Yamata no Orosi. Yes, it's much higher. Rise. And Zmei, with do recognize the Godzilla. Jak do you remember jak King Ghidorah from Godzilla? If you thought that King Ghidorah is Japanese thing, or they just took dragon and were like with three head it would be more cool. Actually they just stole Chrissy from Russian folklore. It's like a fun word version, but like it's like originally in folklore it was intended to be like yeah god, later I Ghidorah. And Calderon, of course, no, it's of course based on all of what's said, but also they have another inspiration. So this is basically to the mix we add. Book of Revelation Dagon on Tiamat, which if you don't know what is Tiamat, it was basically some random Mesopotamian god, but then in the end they took it and they made five-headed version, like one of those heads, and they made like super powerful dragon with five heads that is supposed to be god of dragons, and one of those heads is meant, if I remember right, one is meant to be like stupid as her end. Of course, Ghidorah. Oh, I meant that is Metal Disable. Then we have Ravesta, which is, of course, based on the AI species. You would think no. No, it's not the smile. Yeah. Volcarona? No, it's Actayaga. And yes, Morteman. Oh, you said that because why not? Then we have Volcarona, which is of course Motra. So they might add two cards out of three. Probably because they had because they are Pokemon. Then we have Mosquitoes Pokemon. So they basically just took the three Mosquitoes, they made them fiery, and like when they take it down, it's also the same thing. but they made him mix of Kepe and Unicorn. Then we have Tornadoes. So out of time, then out of what Tornadoes, Tundurus, and those are based on the Kamis. This one is based on Kami of Wind. It's also based on. It's also, however, of course, based on things that are not connected to Japanese mythology because it would be weird. So see, he's like because you see, right there for basic form as was basic iconic into based on gods from Japanese mythology. They monsters based on we call them. I based on something mostly interesting. So first off, Vimion Bird from China, and second Garuda with anti with is like this Hindu Inca. This is the figure of Obai. It's straight as this statue in the world. What? So see, Garuda was basically this is not so like kinda happy, but like much larger. It was a mix of Inca and human, and it was more of Vishnu. Yeah, like Hindu gods were fucked up. Like Krishna basically this is meant to be like one big sigma. Like apparently according to Hindu mythology, Krishna like, could basically murder entire race and he would still be seen as sigma. Then we have Tondurus, which of course is based on God, but I'm not even super percent. And it is the monster's form is based on kissing. Then and Azodago. Oh, this is Azodago. This is someone's might like took colors that things from China, and I saw they mixed them with random mythology things. So we had, so here we have this white greeting. Then we have Resiam. Yeah, it's based with the common the concept of yin yang and line, and Resiam is based on Viven. And to understand what Viven, I think the best thing to understand are the dragons from Game of Thrones. They are not actually dragons, they are vivens. To understand the thing, difference, basically vivens in external my fantasy. In Game of Thrones, authors didn't know, or he did it purpose for it to like annoy fans, people. So like vivens, it's like Game of Thrones dragons have like, you can see wings connected with hands. Two dragons would have wings and four legs. I thought it's based on animals. And Zekrom. So this is basically a two dragon and a apparently tyrannosaur. I don't see the resemblance. And yeah, oh no, it is Azoral. This is tyrannosaur. So yeah, it's basically as predators. They have Randus, so he's based on Inai Okami, which is like literal are basically already with kitsunes. I don't know why, but like, I think this is basically a concept of the perfect waifu. And of course, she's also a goddess of fertility and agriculture because like, yeah, it's BR and like, yeah, like who wouldn't want to like basically have love with like hot woman? I don't even know how this woman is. Some tendencies describe it as hot woman. With if African kitsune, I would go ahead. Like I don't care. if it would make me free, I would love to. I would smash already. And he's of course based on what, and he isn't a mix of something with a colorful animal persona. He's just the lamest one because he's only white tiger is because white tigers are real animals. Then we have Kuram, which is based on the Wooly with this concept of yak of young, and Kedar is based on Cape which is from Scotland, where I'm going soon, and Annikas. And Melody, I don't remember Kenneth is based on music. And of course, Genesect. So they basically talk like the couple pops. And they had like this idea from Genesis one with me to sort of do anything but voice.